we are going to talk about 3 pillars of powerful presentations. As Megan said, my name is Pete Machalek. I co-run a company called Sage Presence. We've been in business for the last 23 years working with professional service folks, specifically a whole lot of engineers. And my understanding about you folks, the members of this group, is you are kind of unusual. You're outliers in that you're not just comfortable with presenting to your peers in-house, but you're interested in getting out there. You're interested in delivering more presentations at conferences, at getting more visible out there, which is fantastic. So my goal for you is to walk away from this little presentation with a few ideas for how to kind of elevate your ability to do that. So I'm going to talk through these 3 pillars, and then if there are any questions afterwards, we'll take them. So let's get into the first thing here. I want to talk about projecting stage presence. When we get up there in front of a room full of our peers, we do want to reach out to everyone. We want to be able to connect with everyone. And part of what makes that kind of challenging is it's a different venue. So just kind of being on stage can create a whole bunch of questions about how to be in that moment. We want to be authentic, but we also want to be true to this sort of larger than life moment, and we want to fill the room. So there's a simple concept that I want to throw out at you here. The concept is about stage presence. The idea is stage presence is a balance of 2 opposites, which is distinct from finding the middle between these 2 opposites and being in the center. You don't want to be centered in this scenario. You want to be balanced between 2 extremes. And the kinds of extremes that I'm talking about here is you can be commanding and confident and strong, and at the same time, you can be understanding and likable and sensitive. That's the kind of extremes that you want to embody all at the same time. So what we recommend is you kind of distill it down. You distill it down to 2 things: confidence and warmth, all at the same time. So a couple of words about how to do that. Confidence is communicated through eye contact. Right now, I'm making eye contact with you, the virtual audience, right now by making eye contact with my camera lens. But if I put myself into a room full of people, what I'm doing is I'm making eye contact with the back row for a little while. And then whenever I pause, I find a new person, make eye contact with somebody over here.
Cloud Leadership Circle is brought to you by Dunyasi Ventures, a leading provider of expert recruitment services. Whether you are starting out or scaling up, Dunyasi Ventures recruitment solutions will give you access to expert recruiters who will find the right fit every time. Contact Dunyasi Ventures today for a free consultation to build your dream team.
After I pause again, I make eye contact with somebody in the middle section. It's always exactly one person that I'm zeroing in on. It doesn't matter how many people are in the room. I am zeroing in on one person and making eye contact with them, and I'm reaching out to them. So this is the body language of confidence. Now, confidence can communicate. When it's just confidence, it can communicate a little bit of coldness. So you want to add warmth into the mix. And the way to do that is to appreciate whoever it is you're talking to. So instead of just making eye contact with somebody, I'm now adding appreciation into the mix. I'm really enjoying whoever I see. And it doesn't matter who I see. It doesn't matter what they're doing or even how they respond to me. Maybe their eyes are closed right now. Maybe they're looking at their phone. Maybe they're grimacing or they're frowning or something like that. Whatever it is, whatever I see in this person, it's exactly the correct way for it to be, and I'm just appreciating the heck out of them. So you can see right now, I think, the difference between just connecting, just being confident, and being confident and warm and appreciative. So you want to embody these two things. You want to be confident with your eye contact, and you want to be warm with your appreciation all at the same time. Second pillar here that I want to talk about is capturing your audience from moment one. So you want to be able to own their attention from the very beginning. You want to speak to what they care about. The big mistake that many speakers make is they go to a conference with the intention of talking about what they want to talk about, and then their audience can decide whether or not they care. Our recommendation is, before you figure anything out about the message that you're going to design, you want to get into the heads of your target audience. So you want to start to ask yourself some questions so that you can design your audience's experience of your presentation. So handful of questions that we recommend that you walk through is, first of all, ask yourself, so who is this audience? Really try to figure out who's going to be in the room. And maybe another way to put that is, if you don't think your exact right audience is going to be everybody in the room, ask who this message is for. Who do you want this message to be for? Who are they? What do they care about? Who do they care about? And then the next question is, what is their current problematic situation? So it doesn't need to be a terrible, horrible, awful situation, but you want to ask the question, what brought them into the room? What's going on for them right now that has them be in here? So it might not be something terrible going on for them, but it might be something like they're missing something that they want, or they don't have enough of some information about something and they want more of that information. Then the next question is to ask, what better situation do they want? So what better, different situation do they want walking out of your presentation that they're not in walking into your presentation? If you can wrap your brain around that, it can inform a tremendous amount about what you're actually going to do for them in the presentation. So this is a fantastic way to own the attention of your audience from moment one. You stop thinking about what it is you want to say, and instead you get into the minds of your target audience. You understand who they are, where they are right now, where they want to be, so that you can figure out what you're going to do for them in the presentation. The third pillar is all about sustaining their attention. Just because you own their attention in the first moment doesn't mean you're going to keep their attention, because audiences have a tremendous amount of potential distractions at any given moment. So you need to be more dynamic. The way that you deliver your presentation needs to sustain their attention throughout your presentation. So let's talk just a little bit conceptually about what dynamism is. If I was going to show you an unmodulated, an undynamic line, what would it look like? I think it would look something like this. It's just a plain, simple, unchanging line. If I ask you, well, what's a more modulated line look like? What does that look like? Well, it looks kind of like a sine wave, right? It goes up and down. But after a while, a sine wave isn't dynamic either, because it's the same kind of change over and over and over again. It's predictable. An even more modulated line looks something like this. It's going up, it's going down, and it's completely unpredictable. You don't know what it's going to do next. That's how you want to be in a presentation. You want to change stuff, and then you want to change stuff up unexpectedly, unpredictably. And so the question becomes, well, in your delivery, in your presentation, what kinds of stuff can you change? And I really just, the answer to that could be a ton of stuff, but I want to throw out just a handful of things that I think are most common and most valuable. They're the things that you can do spontaneously in the moment during your delivery that can wake your audience up just because you're changing things. So you can change your volume. So sometimes you can get louder, sometimes you can get quieter, and going in either direction all of a sudden wakes your audience up more. You can change your speed. So when you are running through a whole bunch of information where the details aren't particularly important, but they need to get a sense that just a ton of stuff is important for them to pay attention to, then you can just run through all that stuff really, really quickly. But when you want them to walk away with something really important, then you slow down. And just the act of changing from normal speed to slower or normal speed to faster and covering a whole bunch of stuff, just that act of changing increases their attention. You can change your gestures. So sometimes you're talking with your hands and sometimes you're dropping them. You can change how you move on stage. So being as how I'm not on stage right now, I'm just in front of a camera, I can't demonstrate a ton, but sometimes in your stage presentation, you can walk, you can take a bunch of steps and talk to that side of the room. You can take a bunch of steps and talk to that side of the room. The only limitations are how much space you actually have, but the idea is sometimes you walk around, sometimes you stand sturdy, straight, centered, focused, balanced. And that difference of sometimes moving and sometimes standing still keeps your audience interested. And then finally, you can change your emotion. So sometimes you can be super happy about some great thing that you're talking about. Sometimes you can be really kind of angry and firm about a problematic situation. Sometimes you can be sad about a disappointing situation that's either going on right now or happened in the past. If you feel your words, then naturally your emotions are going to be changing because the best designed presentations do have different emotions throughout them. You're not just being positive from moment one to the final moment. You're feeling different things as you talk about these different things. So again, the simple concept here is change stuff up during your delivery. The more you change things up and the more unpredictably you change things up, the more you're going to sustain the attention of your audience. So simple review here. To project stage presence, you do so with eye contact and appreciation, with confidence and warmth. You capture your audience by designing their experience before you design your message. And you sustain audience attention with dynamic delivery that's changing things up unpredictably and suddenly. Okay, so questions about anything? And this can be stuff that I covered. It can be other stuff that you have questions about regarding your interest in stepping up the quality of your presentations.
Well, thank you so much, Pete. That was awesome and so much more than I even expected. So thank you so much for giving us some really good tips we can all put into action literally today.